All right, let's go out to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and talk to Lori. What's up, Lori?
Hi, Dr. John. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate your time and your guidance.
Of course. What's up?
So a couple of weeks ago, my husband and I discovered that our 15-year-old daughter was sneaking her boyfriend into our home in the middle of the night through her bedroom window.
Oh, man.
And as the story unraveled that weekend, we found out that this isn't the first time and that they have been sexually active in her bedroom across the hall from our room on multiple occasions.
Okay.
So my husband and I are obviously dealing with this a little bit differently. We've doled out the consequences for her actions. And
what are those consequences? What did y'all do? Did y'all go scorched earth?
Well, we didn't burn the bed yet. So she was 5 days away from turning 16. Obviously, driving privileges have not been given to her, so she is riding the big yellow school bus to and from school. Her cell phone has been taken away. She no longer has a bedroom door. She has a bedroom, but no door. And she cannot participate in any after-school extracurricular activities for the rest of the year. Big consequences, yes. And of course, she feels those are too extreme.
So let me ask you this. This is just adult to adult. You're a parent of a daughter. I'm a parent of a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Taking away her cell phone, taking her door off, taking away her privacy, taking away any after-school connection with kids, taking away her ability to be with her friends. What is that? Connect that to underage sexual activity.
We made those consequences before we found out that she had been sexually active. And I think the majority of the reason for those consequences is because throughout the weekend, we got different iterations of lies. So we tried to at least open up a space so that she could just kind of tell us what was happening. When we found out this was happening, we woke up one morning to a fresh Michigan snow and saw footprints down our sidewalk all the way down the driveway.
Oh man, that's like
road,
a horror movie.
This is how we found this out.
Okay, can I cut to the chase? And
Yep.
I'm going to say something direct, and I'm saying this to my friend, not at you. Okay, I'm just with you on this one. When I used to work with college students all the time, I would call them in and say, "Hey, you've been accused of sexual assault. You have been accused of cheating. I have a whole bunch of texts where you threatened to kill some." Like, that was my job. I did that all day, every day. And every time somebody would leave, I would always tell them, whether they were an 18-year-old or they were a 29-year-old, whether they were my grad students or they were a freshman in college, I would tell them, you have 24, sometimes 48 hours to come back and change your story. And I'm going to allow it to be as though that's the first thing you told me. Because I know the terror that is coursing through your veins right now. And when we get scared, we have default, we just react.
Yeah.
Right? And so you get to come back. After 48 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, depending on what the issue was, then you're going to get in more trouble for being a person who lacks integrity than for whatever it is you did. Okay? But I'm telling you that to tell you, it sounds like some of these are in totality. It sounds like two adults got really embarrassed that they missed something right across their hallway and they got really pissed off. And they just used all of their power, like a Marvel character.
Yeah.
And the thing that a 15-year-old girl that's sneaking a boy into her room and then is sexually active at 15 is a body that is screaming for connection. And it's as though, it's like in the old days when, I forgot what it is. They used to, I'll have to think it up. They used to give the cure for diarrhea used to be back in the 1800s was to dehydrate the body, make it worse, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so for a brain, a tiny little adolescent brain that is screaming for connection, so much so they're going to risk everything. That the solution can't be less connection. And my guess is, with this type of response, and tell me, dude, you could say, you're an idiot, Delony, you're wrong on this one. And I would love to be wrong on behalf of your daughter here. But your husband didn't take her out and hold her and say, I'm so sorry. Tell me.
Yeah, no.
Like, okay. My guess is this is a temper tantrum, Dad. My guess is you haven't taken her out and said, there are some things about your mom you didn't know. I'm going to tell you about when I was in high school. I'm going to tell you about when I was in college. Because 15-year-old sexual activity is not safe. They're a child, right? And so I'm not saying they should be allowed to do this at all. I'm all about consequences. I'm all about accountability, okay? I don't care if you're a person of faith. If you're a secular, 15 years old is too early to be having sex, period. End of story. Conversation's over, okay?
Yep.
And so I'm with you on that. But the move has to be to increase connection, not take it away. Mm-hmm. And that has to be done not through I've got this huge power in this like these lightning bolts I'm going to fire across the hall into your room and into your life. This is a dad that says, as punishment, you have to have dinner with me twice a week, just us two. Mm. And I don't have time for that. You don't have time not to, because now this cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
What I would tell you is I've never, ever, ever, in all my years of working with adolescents, I've never seen scorched earth be a response that wins in the long term. Mm. I just never have seen it. I also can't imagine my teenager sneaking somebody in their room across the hall from me. Right? I mean, I can get raged out just thinking about it. But it's my job as the adult to remain the adult, not to revert back to being a kid.
Yeah.
Has your husband just lost his mind?
His weapon of choice is the silent treatment.
Nightmare, so dude. That's a nightmare for a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, hasn't spoken to her since it happened. And she and I have had lots of conversations. So my conversation with her, and that's partly due to listening to you, is because I've been able to take those tools and go to her and say, what you did, what your actions were wrong. You're not bad. I love you no matter what. I did stupid things too when I was a kid, and so we've had those conversations. We're talking. We're doing all those good things. But he just completely pulled back, and I think because he read the text on her phone that kind of told us the story of what had been going on, he's hurt that she did this so young, and that there was, kind of vulgarity. I mean, you don't think of your children at 15 as being, that promiscuous. And I think it's the realization for him that that's what happened. And he just feels so disgusted, is what he told me this weekend when I tried to talk to him. So, I don't know how much.
Does he not remember being 15?
Well, I think he remembers how he was when he was 15, so he's trying to protect his girls from being that.
And then he handed him a smartphone with access to the planet?
Exactly.
Or worse, the planet. My buddy Sean Ryan said this the other day. You're not giving your kid access to the world. You're giving your world access to your kid.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
And learns everything. And I mean, you see what I'm saying? So you have a disconnected dad. Let me just say it this way. Mm-hmm. And this doesn't always play through with the literature, but it's something I live by. My daughter and my son, but I'm just talking daughters here because that's what we're talking. My daughter will get connected, deep affection from a man. Mm. That will be me, or that will be some boy that says, I love you. Can you believe your dad did that? And whatever the thing I did is, I made her come in on time. I gave her a curfew. I didn't let her have social media. Whatever the thing is, she will get that connection, period. And so it sounds like, based on his reaction and it's not about him. It's about his baby girl. Mm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to think through that, because like every other parent, you feel like what weren't we giving to her that we thought we were? That's kind of where I'm at right now.
I get that. But what you're doing is you're taking a 15-year-old girl screaming for, will somebody just love me? And y'all have made it about yourself. What did we do?
Yeah.
What can we do? It's not about y'all right now. Yeah. It's about this girl who has lost not only her boyfriend, not only been super embarrassed, not only she's lost her. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She's lost her parents, her mom and dad. You'll have siblings? Does she have siblings?
She has two older sisters.
Are they helping or making this worse?
No, they haven't really talked to her about it.
Good gosh, why?
Well, they're not. They're in the military, so they're not local to her. And since she doesn't have a phone anymore, there's been no connection to her. I mean, when we've talked about it as a family, their response has just been, wow, we can't believe how dumb she was.
Yes, this is very dumb.
Yeah.
And if we can all count on 15-year-olds to do one thing, it's dumb things, right? Because they're 15. That's why they need us. I can't tell you how important it is for your husband.
So how do I get him to that point?
You tell him you're going to lose your daughter forever. Tell him to call me.
Yeah. And I think if I say that to him, like you said, temper tantrum parenting, I think he'll just be like, whatever. She doesn't respect me. She didn't respect our house. Why?
He doesn't respect her.
Why would I want those things? Yeah.
This is a 15-year-old that is going looking for somebody to say I have value.
Yeah.
Because my dad only gives me value when I sing and dance the right way, and my bed's made up.
Mm.
My mom only gives me value if I don't do bad things or good. I don't know y'all's relationship, but
yeah,
this is the time that I'm going to give you a roadmap. He's not going to do this. And the person who will suffer is your 15-year-old. But I'm going to give you and everybody listening a roadmap. He gets home from work today, and he picks her up from school instead of the bus. And he takes her out for some kind of quasi-nice meal, even though it's only 3:30 or 4:30 when you get out of school. Maybe ice cream. And he says, I am so sorry. I totally blew this. I screwed this up for years, and I'm asking you to forgive me. And that's how that has to start. And I know there are millions of parents listening to this call right now going, are you freaking kidding me? She snuck a boy in. And listen, we'll get to that. You can't do that. You can't. But there's a context to that behavior. There's a desperation to that behavior.
Yeah.
Now, just because she has a connected relationship with her mom and dad doesn't mean she's not going to want to hook up with somebody. They're experimental. They're 15, they're 16, they're 17. That's where they need parents to play defense, to be preventative, right? Yep. That's why I'm so adamant about kids not having access to the whole planet. And my son had a friend last night who was going through a tough time on a school night. I let him go out, and he was on the phone so late. And I let him. Because it was right. He was learning some lessons. And so I'm not a robot. I'm not soulless. But she's going to go looking for that connection somewhere.
Yeah.
Here's what she needs from her mom. Sex at 15 is dangerous. It's not safe. It's not wise. It's not smart for 50 different reasons. And if you have any wisdom to pass along, this is the time now. Not, mom did some dumb things. It's time to get a little more specific because y'all read some text messages and things got really specific. And I am asking you for your safety, for your future, to not be sexually active. And I have to ask you if you're being safe when you are.
Yeah.
Both and, right?
Yep.
And one The people that I talk to on a regular basis that are all faith-based, the answer is no, it's period, and we move on. And then my friends and community who are not faith-based are all just be safe about it. And both are incomplete conversations.
Mm.
It has to be you can't. But my God, if you do, don't be stupid. Don't add stupid on top of stupid. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. We immediately went to our family physician.
I know you did.
I asked,
the whole
help me with this, and
yes. I know. I just can imagine. You went down the playbook. We're getting STD testing and pregnancy testing, and we're taking your door off. No phone, no. Right?
Yeah.
Totally get the
and
impulse.
a conversation about safety if she chooses to, go down that road again. So.
Right. Totally get that. But let's figure out ways she can connect with her sisters. Let's figure out ways that if dad's going to continue to act like a child, and his response is very childish, and I would tell him that if he was on the phone here. I don't like to talk like this about somebody's partner when they're not on the phone, but this, I have lived. It's been my responsibility to take care of these kids when they come to college for almost 20 years, and it breaks my heart because they get to school and they are squashed and they are completely unplugged from any sort of family system of values, of love, of connection, of safety. And they go to college and they are just sitting ducks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Because there's a whole bunch of different people, different ideologies, all kind of different people that will say, I believe in you. And it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Conversation with we've been married 29 years, and this isn't the first time that he's responded like this. His behavior. I mean, he got upset with our middle daughter because she used purple color dye on the bottoms of her hair, and I don't think he spoke to her for months. So at this stage in my life, I'm less accepting of his parenting. So there's struggle between him and I, and we're trying to resolve this.
I get that.
With a daughter, it's a lot,
I know. That little girl needs her dad in a bad way right now. In a real bad way.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you trying to be an advocate on her behalf.
Right, yeah. Is there something that I can counsel her to start the conversation since he wants?
It's not her job.
It will be the adult.
It's not her job. It will never be her job.
Yeah.
Do you have an uncle or a grandparent or a brother that can reach out to her and say the words, your dad is acting like a child right now and I'm sorry. I love you and I see you and I'm safe?
Yeah, we have no family connection. He has no strong male relationship.
Older sisters that can call and say, hey, we did this with dad too. He acts like a 2-year-old with his temper tantrums and gives us the silent treatment. You're not evil. You're not bad. You're dumb. You did something stupid, right? But you're still loved. You're still in our gang. You're still our sister.
Yeah. I can definitely.
She can't sit in her room completely unplugged from planet Earth and having the most important relationship walk by and act like she does not exist. I can't express enough. That is throwing her at some other dude to say, take care of my daughter because I won't do it.
Yeah.
That's what that behavior is doing.
That's my childhood, so I think that's why.
Okay.
Watch this happen.
And let me say, that right there, I should have been more clear. I'm not suggesting you sit down and tell your daughter about all the men you've been with or haven't been with. I'm not telling your daughter about the time you let a guy sneak into your dorm room or into your bedroom. I am suggesting you sit down and say, let me tell you about granddad. This is hard for me to say, but I got in trouble when I was a kid, and he ignored me for months, and I'm so sorry. I'm working with your dad because this isn't right. Because at some point, some adult that cares about her has to call out this behavior.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for saying that.
if it's not him, it's got to be you.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And I'll say this. He is choosing to not be on team family.
Mm.
And so he's going to blame you and say, why are you talking about this? You're going against me. He has opted out of this family system because he's choosing silence. He's out. He opted out. He put his dad card down and said, I'm going to go over here because my little ego is more important than wading into this and putting my 15-year-old daughter's head on my chest and holding her tightly and letting her know she's loved. Because we're about to go to hell. The accountability on the back end is going to be rough. But she needs to know that I love her. And then really it's a whole separate call. And I guess we can do this call another day. It's a whole separate call on what's the appropriate response. Like what is appropriate disconnection, right? What is appropriate accountability when you find out your teenager is sexually active? Scorched earth doesn't work. Just letting it ride is a terrible option. So what do you do? How do you wade into it? It's hard. That's going to be for another call. Lori, thank you so much for the call. If your husband wants to call me, man, I'll be happy to talk to him. That little girl needs her mom and dad and her sisters real quick.